All right. Welcome everybody to today's show on We Table It. It is indeed a pleasure to be anchoring today's coffee chatter as we normally do it. We'll take 1 hour every Saturday to present something new. And we try also to make it interesting to you all because without you, there will be no us. So you're welcome to today's show. And wherever you're joining us, whatever continent, whichever country, I want to say that you're welcome to today's show. I'm just going to spend the next couple of few minutes to reintroduce our platform to you all. And the purpose of doing that is to wait for some other people to join us. As you know, we're watched and joined from all over the world. And because of the time difference, I mean, everybody operating in different time zones, the timing can be sometimes tricky. So kudos to Facebook and other platforms that we're deploying for helping us to remind the viewers that it is time. So we're live, and it is good to have you with us today. So today's Saturday, and we're doing this 10 a.m. In the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. So you're welcome once again. Um, while we're at it trying to prepare our coffee and whatever drink that we're going to be using to digest today's discussion, I've got mine here, all right? Oh, not showing well. All right. Yeah. So you can join me with whatever beverage that is available to you, and we're gonna, do a deep dive into a topic that I believe is gonna be interesting and significant for us all, or for our friends or those people that are, associated with us. Um, so you may want to know that we're going live at the moment on Facebook and on Twitter, now called X, and on YouTube. So what that means is that we're available on all these platforms. You may just want to go and like and follow our pages on these platforms: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and also LinkedIn. And we're also available on Instagram. Yeah, so go ahead and go like and follow our page. Leave us a comment on any of these platforms, and it will be great to have you as a family. So today we will be having a discussion as usual, and I'll be sharing a bit of my knowledge to entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, experienced entrepreneurs, and those who are into one form of business, um, however it is. So I believe that there is something everyone can gain um, from today's show, especially those who are planning to get into business or those who are currently doing business successfully or not so successfully. And the later will be my major focus. I would like to say that we've got a number of videos out there on our platforms. And in case you are looking for previous videos that we've done, just go to our platform, and you'll find out that every Saturday we do carry out this show and dish out some very, informative discussions. So, for example, last week last weekend we had this platform on this platform on a coffee chat of Valerie, and she did a topic on silence with a caption: society's best kept secret. Previously we've done talks on leadership in Africa, and are youths ready for their responsibility to take up leadership? That was hosted by myself, Enor, and Valerie, and Bonnie, and we got a special guest in that show. We also had Enor anchor our program on marriage, talking about monogamy versus bigamy as it affects our society today. We've also had numerous other discussions, and I believe Valerie is also planning something on personal finance planning and its importance for wealth generation. All right, so these are juicy topics that we may want to take some extra time to go rewatch again on any of our platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram. Okay, so you're welcome, everybody. I'm going to remind you again that if you've not liked or followed us on our platforms, you may want to do so now. So for today, we are streaming live via StreamYard, and we are going to be discussing on nurturing your business using the flower of service approach. I will be anchoring this discussion today, and I sincerely hope you learned something from it today, most especially if you're planning to go in a business or if you're currently doing a business and not doing so well in the business. All right, so I decided to do this discussion, anchor this conversation on the flow of service approach, because I just noticed that everybody is having a passion for carrying out a business these days. And even for those who have a 9 to 5 job, regular job, they still want to do business. And the success of your business will be determined by how you approach it. And so that is why I want to share with you the flower of service approach. And as usual, I like this to be conversational. Of course, for most times, you might notice that I may be doing a one-way uh, a one-way discussion. However, I would absolutely love that you contribute some, information and tips, and also ask your questions. Yeah, you can ask for access to the mic and ask a question, or you can drop your comments uh, in the form of a question, or you just leave a suggestion on any of the platforms we're streaming live on: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and I would attend to it. Okay, so today, like I said, we will be focusing on those who are currently doing business and not doing so well in it, or planning to go into business. Putting you through some form of information, sharing a bit of knowledge in such a way that you can use this knowledge to better carry out your businesses. So for today, we will be focusing on those type of business that are anchored on delivery of services. All right, delivery of services. I'd like to demystify a few concepts so that you can properly follow me along as we carry out this discussion. All right, so first of all, I'd like to say that sometimes you're going to be hearing me talk about products. So let us demystify the concept of products, and that will help us properly put this discussion in perspective. So when we talk about products, a lot of people associate products with something physical, something tangible, something we can touch, we can feel, we can see, we can handle. However, that's not entirely true. So products can be goods, which are some things that are tangible, or services. So we can refer to as banking services as banking products. They are not tangible. However, we are delivering them to an end user or to a customer. So that is me demystifying those terms, and you're going to be hearing me talking about products And what I will effectively mean there is offering of services. All right, so I would now like to give some overview of the differences between services and goods. And this will help us properly put this into context. Because, like I said earlier on, I am focusing on delivering knowledge on how to better deliver services. For those of you marketers out there, those of you entrepreneurs, I'm going to be sharing knowledge on how you can better offer the services you're marketing or you're delivering. So I'll take the next couple of minutes to explain the differences between goods and services in the context of product. So first of all, let's talk about tangibility. All right, so goods refer entirely to products that are tangible. They are physical, we can touch them, we can see them, and then we can even store them. Example, automobiles, your mobile phone, which is a lot of people's best friends these days, including me. All right. So these are things you can touch and you can feel and you can store them. All right. So these are goods. On the other hand, in the context of tangibility, we cannot touch services. All right. So at that point in time that they are delivered, they are consumed. You cannot own the services. You can just make use of the services and then you cannot take it back home. Unlike the phone that you can buy a phone from a store, a physical store or online, and when you pay your money, you take it back to your house. For the services, you can't do that. You pay for a service, you use it right there, and you go back home empty. So basically, a service is not tangible. We only pay for the service because we want the experience, which is time bound. Another difference is that uh, just like we said earlier on, a product, you can pay for it and own it. A service, you can only own it at that point you are using the experience. As soon as that experience is paid for and already used up, you cease to own the service. You go back home empty. All right. So just for those of you who are just joining us, trying to demystify the concept between goods and services so that we can properly put our discussion today in context. And I'll be referring to your comments or questions once in a while. All right. So in summary, we can own our goods after we pay for it, but our services, we cannot own it when we're done using the experience. We go back home empty. Another thing about goods in the context of products is that they are perishable. All right. So generally, durability is attached to goods, and you can store it for later use. However, they may not perish very quickly. On the other hand, for services, we experience it for the moment, and that's it. We cannot carry it further. We cannot store it. You can't store the experience in your pocket. So now you see how difficult it can be for a marketer or an entrepreneur to market their services for those who are primarily marketing services. And that's the reason why I want to share this knowledge with you today, how you can, weather the storm or the waters of service delivery or service marketing and still make a success out of your business. All right. So another thing about goods and services differences is that there is some form of homogeneity in goods. So for example, if I want to make a purchase of the iPhone 15, I really wish I can do that now. All right, the iPhone 15, I am almost certain that if I make the purchase in one store, all right, it's a Samsung, but you can just imagine it's an iPhone, all right, iPhone 15. Yeah, so if I make that purchase in one store, I'm almost certain that it is the same dimension, the same product quality that another person will be getting in another store. I'm almost certain of that. However, when it comes to services, uh, there is no form of homogeneity in service. It's often heterogeneous. And what that means is that the expertise, the skills, and interaction of the person producing the service can vary from one customer to another. So the experiences can be different. And that is why most oftentimes services are a very hard nut to crack when it comes to marketing of the services or production or offering of such services. Okay, so that is a summary of the differences between um, services and goods when we are trying to put this into context for products. All right, so due to the limitations of time, I'd like to say that we will not likely exhaust all the information that I want to share with you today on this topic. However, if you think it is worth talking about again or continue the conversation, you may leave us a message or drop a comment, and I'll do a part 2 of this. All right. So now, although I have said earlier on that this talk is primarily focused on service offering and those entrepreneurs who are primarily marketing their services or whose businesses are anchored on offering services, I also want to believe that those who whose business are anchored on product delivery, I mean goods, offering of goods, can also benefit some few knowledge or expertise from today's conversation. So sit back there, relax, and we'll do this together. Now, let us let me stir the waters a little bit and ask some questions. For example, if we want to let us think about a restaurant, for example. What do restaurants primarily offer to their customers? What would you say? I mean, a restaurant or food outlet such as KFC, what is their primary offering? A hotel. However, the rating the hotel might be 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. What is their primary offering? A taxi, an Airbnb. What would you say is the primary offering of such products? In whatever case this is, the examples that I've just given, all right, um, you might even be doing businesses that are not directly related to the examples that I've given, but you can see some form of correlation. Whatever it is important to first know the primary offering for such businesses. Let us take a restaurant, for example. I'm pretty sure if I asked to a very large audience like this platform that I'm having today, what is the primary offering of a restaurant? Almost everybody will say, oh, it's to eat food, buy food. However, if you're an entrepreneur that is still thinking this way, that you own a restaurant primarily to offer food to your customers, you need to have a reorientation. Because these days, people go to a restaurant because of the experience that is being offered. The experience, Yes, we want to eat something. However, we can choose to eat at home. We can choose to eat anywhere. But someone who chooses to go to a restaurant is doing that because they want some form of experience, sometimes unknown to them. They may think they want just the food. However, they're being choosy because it is the experience that they want. Let's take a hotel as another example. The primary offering traditionally for a hotel is to offer a bed and sometimes breakfast, isn't it? However, you still find customers choosing from one hotel and another. And yes, some of you may argue that many people do that because they're considering um, how much they have to pay for the hotel. But you know what? Even if we have the choice, and this is for price sensitive customers, of choosing between hotels, we're still doing that with this thing in our mind that we, beyond just the price, we want a good experience. So if you're having to offer accommodations to customers in today's world, and you're still thinking bed and breakfast or bed and boarding, you need to have a reorientation, because competitiveness today in that industry is primarily focused on the experience that you can offer that is different from your competitor. All right, so I just had to say some of these things so that I can prepare your mind into delivering the flower service. So I'm just going to put on the screen now a garden, and I hope you can see it. So if you look at this garden, you'll find that it has, of course, typical of a garden, flowers. All right, you have, I want to believe, some rose flowers there, pink colored flowers, and this is just a mixture of different flowers. Now, when you get into this garden, you feel some form of peace, isn't it? And that is as a result of the ambience that is being presented to you. However, what attracts you to this garden is the aesthetic values placed by the flowers. You take a look at it from afar and you like the pleasing physical offering that you can see from the flowers. However, the intention of the person who planted these flowers and made this garden or a park, I'm not so sure, or a park, is to present an experience for you to pay for or to witness. However, to get you to interact with this experience, they decided to use the physical attraction of the flowers to attract you. So let's get this straight. The offering for this park or this garden is a service, providing you with an experience. However, the attractive factor for you to get into this park is a physical, tangible product, which is the flowers. I'll go over it again. The primary purpose is to sell an experience to you, which is a service. But in attracting you, because services are intangible, humans like to interact with things that are tangible. They get attracted to things that are tangible. I use something tangible, using the flower, to attract you to come and pay for the experience, which is intangible. We're getting somewhere, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, give me some time. We're getting somewhere. I want to lead you to this flower. So I took a zoomed image of one of the flowers. All right. Take a look at this flower. Beautiful, isn't it? Red colored flower with some lovely petals, very fresh. And I would like to say that it looks fresh because it's well nurtured. And the primary reason for saying that is that for your business offerings, you need to nurture some aspect for you to look good. And I'm going to tell you that towards when we get to the juicy part of today's discussion. All right, like I was saying earlier on when we started, you can leave a comment or you can ask a question or you can leave a suggestion on the comment box and I'll attend to it. All right. So we don't just have a one-way conversation. All right. So this is a flower in the park that attracts you to the park to come and experience the primary offering. That is the experience that the owner of such park is selling to you. All right. So I'm going to take a deep dive into this flower you can see and split the petals into different aspects. And now, while splitting these petals, I will be explaining additional a bit of knowledge that might be new to some of you. However, for some other people, it might not be so new, but I'll try to bring in perspectives that can add some meaning to the knowledge that you already have. So, I'd like to also say here that this flower of service is more like a conceptual framework, all right, that is used in service marketing to illustrate the various elements that makes up a service offering. And so let us take a look at the breakdown of this beautiful flower that I showed earlier on, this red one with a number of petals in it. Now let's take a look at the breakdown that I'm going to be focusing my discussion on today. And this is the point that I really love those of you who are thinking about starting up a business, or those of you who already have a business but not doing so well and you need that extra push or extra information to take your business to the next level. Most especially if your offering, your product, are services. And this is including marketers out there. All right. So uh, you may want to ask, how did this flower service come about? This is entirely not my original idea. This flower service was introduced by Christopher Lovelock and Joachim Waits. All right. I hope I got the second name correctly. And they did that in a book which they titled Services Marketing, People, Technology, and Strategy. And I found this really interesting and decided that I'd like to talk about this. So within this conversation, I would also be giving my own subjective interpretation of what the of this conceptual framework introduced by Christopher and Jochen. And I would also be offering some tips that may serve as actionable strategies for those marketers or entrepreneurs or business owners who seem to be struggling or are at the planning stage of launching another of their business. So this will help us understand and design a comprehensive service package. So basically, the goal is to make you more competitive in whatever you're doing. Um, let's now take a look at this broken down flower that you can see on the screen. All right. And now let's look at this flower, and I hope you can see it on the screen. Um, we have at the middle of this flower the core, and this represents the core product. All right. The primary reason why you are in the business that you are doing. the primary reason. If you're offering accommodation as your business, or you're offering food, or just like we said earlier on, if you have a park and the primary reason for creating the park is to have people come pay for the experience, or whatever business you're doing, it might even be you offering goods to the end users, whatever business, it is important that you first understand the core product that you're offering. Yeah, of course, I want to believe that every entrepreneur who goes out there to offer something actually is offering something within their expertise. So, but this is not where I'm getting at today. This is not where I am presenting the new knowledge to you. This is something we all know, and I believe we don't take for granted knowledge of our core product. However, how do we um, how do we present this core product to our customers or our end users in such a way that it will make us more competitive compared to uh, our competitors? This is where we're getting at. So I remember sometime I, I was supposed to travel. I did travel to a country to give a talk at an international conference. And before getting there, I pre-booked my hotel, all right? And in making the booking for this hotel, I took into consideration many things that I like to take into consideration. For example, the rating, the reviews, how good looking the pictures are of the rooms, the bar, in-house restaurant, the ambience, little things that we care about when we want to, stay in a hotel accommodation. I pre-booked in a hotel, and I went to this place, and uh, and when my flight landed, finished all the procedures, I immediately took a taxi downtown, and I went to the hotel. However, on getting there, I found out I was too early for check-in. I mean, we all know that check-in usually would be 12 noon or 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., however it is. I was there quite early. I mean, about 3 to 4 hours earlier than scheduled. And yes, physically, the place looked good, just like I saw it online. However, there were some things that I didn't easily relate to. First of all, I wasn't given good service at the front desk, because after explaining to them that, yeah, I mean, I arrived quite early, but I was sleepy. I needed, a room to check into and the likes. I mean, they didn't offer me. They just told me in a very passive and non-concerning way that it wasn't time for me to check in. And I mean, I was there with my luggage, and they didn't show any empathy. And that was somewhat distinct from the physical attracting package that I presented online. Now, let us go back to the first slide that I presented to you all. All right, so this is a park that is very attractive from afar. And the primary purpose of the business owner who set up this park or this garden was to get people come and pay for the experience, and to attract people to the experience, because the experience is not tangible. You cannot hold it, you can't touch it, and people want to pay for something they can easily relate to. And so, because you cannot hold this experience that you're offering to your customers, you want to show them something that they can relate to, that can give you an idea of the experience, and that'll be attractive. So they put the flowers there, and that can give you an indication of a good ambience. And the same thing with a hotel. People primarily go to a hotel not just to lay their head, but to have an experience. And for a hotel to attract people, they have to make use of the physical attributes, beautify the physical attributes, and that would attract people. And that should be giving you ideas for whatever service you're offering. You can make a very, very great service. You can prepare for the customers. However, if the customers don't come to you or don't let you come to them, it's wasted. And that I've seen people who fail in business and they say, I offer good services, but they don't seem to come. And that's because you're not attracting people or making people want you to come to them. One way you can do this is to rely on the physical attributes, whatever physical attributes you can lay your hands on, and beautify those physical attributes, and that will be the attracting factor. I'll ask you a question. As a marketer of services, and by the way, services are one of the hardest products to market as a marketer because you don't have something to show to the end users. You just go there and talk and talk and talk and ask them to come and experience it, and that ends there. And so, I mean, you cannot. It's very hard to deploy experiential marketing for services, and so you need to beautify physical, tangible attributes to relate easily to the customers. So if you're marketing services, the first thing you have to market is yourself. You have to make yourself attractive, make yourself look like the services that you want to offer to the end users. So that was just to buttress a point. Let's get back to what we were saying. I Back to the story that I was talking about. So um, I wasn't entirely impressed with this hotel, not because they didn't attract me. Heck, they attracted me. I mean, I was willing to pay a good amount of money to have that experience just because of what I saw online. But I got there and I wasn't attracted anymore because, I mean, the experience was starting to look not like what I really anticipated. So what happened here was that they had good, beautiful, attractive flowers. But when I got into this place, I didn't get the experience that I was looking for. And I had to go back to my phone, connect to the internet, and look for another hotel. And I found one that wasn't so far, got there, and got a 5-star experience. And of course, the first hotel lost the amount of money that I should have paid them um, to get myself lodged in their facility. So I hope at this point we're starting to get to the knowledge that I'm trying to dish out today. However simple it might be, I'd like to give you a second analogy. This time it is a real life experience, but this time around I'll be sharing the experience of someone else. So I had somebody come consult with me at a point in time, and this was an informal consultation, not a formal one that I would do in my office with someone paying some money for me to give them some bit of advice on how to jumpstart the business or be more competitive. And so there was this lady who approached me at the office, but in an informal conversation. And she said uh, she started off her business somewhere in a location that was prime. I mean, it was a location that had a large market in a downtown area. And it was also a location that was more like an intersection that travelers will pass through in different routes. And she was the first person to set up a restaurant there. And she set up the restaurant, and a lot of people were coming to the restaurant. In fact, business was so good for her that she wasn't able to cater to all the customers, but she was always smiling to the bank, and she was happy. But all of a sudden, and that is why she was consulting with me, um, she realized that a couple of other businesses, restaurants, were springing up in the area, and she was out of business. In fact, when she was talking to me, she was contemplating closing shop. And she was telling me the primary purpose wasn't maybe to get my opinion. Of course, she wanted that, but she was telling me, I know what is happening. These other people are using voodoo to attract the customers that I normally would get, and now I'm almost out of business. And I was, wait a second. Let us put this in perspective. You are doing so well that you were doing so well, and everybody was coming to you, and then you have competitors coming to the area, and almost nobody's coming to you. And she says, of course, they're doing something extra voodoo. And I asked her a couple of more questions, and I found out that she was still thinking the traditional business way. She was still thinking that the primary purpose of a restaurant is just offer food to a customer. So I asked her, how is the food that you offer a customer? And she went, oh, I offer the best food. My food is so sweet. People love my food, and it must be sweeter than other people's the food offered by other restaurants. I was like, all right, enough of that, enough of that. All right, how is the seating arrangement? She says, I have a few chairs, a few benches in my restaurant, and just so you know, people will sit. Some other people will, they don't care, they'll stand. Of course, some will like to order to go because they don't have a place to sit, but many will stand and wait for other people to finish eating, and then they'll have the seat and eat. And she was saying this with all sense of pride to tell me how good her food tasted. I'm like, okay, all right. I think to be having an idea what is happening. In a nutshell, I found out that she thought, I mean, in this present day and age, that all she had to offer was good food, and that is business for her. However, she was making the mistake not to think that her primary purpose of being in the restaurant or the food and beverage industry was to offer an experience. And perhaps others got into the area and offered that experience that she wasn't offering to her customers. And I mean, a lot of people think they go to a restaurant primarily because of the food, but it is subconsciously because of the experience you're going to have while eating your food. And so she was no more competitive because she was still thinking the traditional way. All right. So I believe that these two examples will make you now understand when I go do a deep dive into each of these petals you can see on your screen. All right. Yeah. Before I do a deep dive into these petals, I like to I can see I have a couple of comments here. All right. A couple of comments. Oh, from Enor. Delectable entrepreneur par excellence. So I'd like to read what Enor is saying. Enor says, I learned over time that as a business owner, your core strategy should be to meet the customer at the point of their needs, and not just providing goods or services you think are great. Second thing is customer feedback. Never play with feedback. It is the live wire of business growth. Absolutely. Yeah, you couldn't have said this better. All right. I'll take another comment. You say, I still wonder what model businesses like the hotel you experience use. Nothing stops them from checking you in with an additional cost if the time difference isn't negligible. Absolutely correct. But you will be shocked how completely ignorant some business people are when it comes to this until competition kick them out of business. All right. So I'll go back to my rose petals again and then show you areas you can use to give your businesses that extra boost. And so for those of you entrepreneurs who are planning to launch a business that are anchored on services that you cannot show tangibly, or for those of you entrepreneurs who are not doing so well in your businesses that may be anchored on services or some form of goods, let us come a bit closer. Let us do a deep dive into each of these petals. And oh no, sorry, I'm gonna have to put that up again. Each of these petals, and see how we can beautify our businesses, relaunch it or repackage our plans, and put it out there to the customers and become more competitive. So we have the core products, which I believe that is what is taking us into business, right? The core product, like the restaurant, the lady who came consulting with me, offering food, isn't it? That is the core product. However, that is not going to take you anywhere. If you're still thinking core products today, and I mean, of course, we should have imbued a lot of quality in our core products. I mean, we shouldn't be thinking and discussing about the core product because, I mean, you should be offering something good. All right. So that shouldn't be what should occupy our discussions today. The core product is the fact that we are in business because of this. However, to make you more competitive, you need to focus your attention on the attractive parts of the flowers. You see these rose petals. This flower is attractive because the rose petals are beautiful, beautiful looking. And these rose petals are only beautiful looking because they are well nurtured, they are watered, they're exposed to good sunlight. This is how you should think of your business today. The core products here that this rose flower is offering might be inside it. It might be in the pollen grains. It might be in, um, perfumes these days. I mean, not these days. Traditionally, a lot of perfumes are gotten from flowers, attraction from flowers, or dyes, or whatever colors or pigments. That might be the core products you're getting from the flowers, but the flowers are blossoming because you're nurturing these petals. And I want you to think of these petals as these points, this form of additions to our core products that can give us that competitive edge or competitive advantage over our, our competitors. So as an entrepreneur, focus on these rose petals. So I give an example. And this is just so you know, given by the conceptual framework of this rose petal, this flower of service that was developed by Christopher and Joachim. All right. So the flower of service, like you can see on your screen, is represented as a flower diagram, isn't it? The core product is what got you into the market, into business in the first place. And so we put that at the center. And then these petals you're seeing, we can think of them as two broad categories: facilitating and supporting elements. So the core product represents the core benefit or the service that you are offering to the customer, right? So for example, a hotel stay, like I talked about. However, to take your business into the next level, to become more competitive, you need to dedicate time to the petals. And these petals are what in the flower service approach is called augmented products or services. These are the supplementary services that you should concentrate your, your competition on And this is what will give you competitive advantage. And it can be as simple as you as an entrepreneur. Let me look for a very simple example. I've been giving, big examples, and I'm pretty sure some of you joining us will be thinking, I don't have money to own a hotel, or I don't have money to start up a restaurant or a fast food outlet. Let us go to something as simple as a barber shop. Or even for the ladies, you know how to make hair, all right? However the design is, you have a handiwork of making hair, all right? Now you have a lot of people doing that, and a lot of people thinking, I'm in that business to make people's hair, and I can do it very well. So I should be in business. I should be making money, right? Wrong. If you want to stand out and be the toast of your customers, do not think so much about that core product you're offering, because a lot of people out there are offering the same thing. Start to spend time to think about the petals around these core products, and start to focus your attention on feeding these petals, nurturing these petals. It is these petals that will attract the customers. It is these petals that would attract the bees to come suck on the core product. It is these petals that will make the customers want you to come to them. I mean, so it is these petals that I call, or that is referred to in the flower service approach as the augmented products or the supplementary services. Now, they surround these core products, and they as additional elements that enhance the value and the appeal of these core products. Now, sit back and relax, you entrepreneurs. I want you to know that the higher percentage of entrepreneurs this day, we go into business with only their core products. How you can displace them, and this will take a bit of time and patience, but it will certainly lead you well. I've consulted with people and used this as a foundation to offer advice, of course, paid for, and they ended up succeeding in their businesses. Now, you can surround the core products you're offering with two categories of supplementary services: facilitating elements and supporting elements. Now, if you take a look um, at this picture, you find out that I separated these facilitating elements and enhancing elements, differentiated them with colors. So the facilitating elements are orange in color, and there are three of them: information, payment, and billing. And the enhancing element are five here: consultation, order taking, hospitality, exceptions, and safekeeping. All right, so let's start with these facilitating elements. All right, information, payment, and billing. And I'm going to be using the simple examples so you know how it works. And I believe if you can catch it from the simple examples, you can apply it in whatever business you're doing. So we're going to be using the examples of, the simple example of a lady who makes other ladies' hair. You have a salon or you don't even have a salon, but you're skilled in making hair for ladies or guys, however it is. Now, these facilitating elements, these three of them, the information, the payment, and the billing, are factors that can help to enhance the delivery of your main product, the core product, which is the making the hair. They are not the core services itself. However, they help you to enhance the delivery of the core services. Let's take a look at the three of them. Information. How do you want information about your business to be gotten to the customer? Do they have to, I mean, go through a lot to find out about you? Or they can find out about you just by clicking their phones. Simple. Social media these days, internet. How easy do you make the customers have access to information about you? Are you going to sit down somewhere and expect them to come look for you? Or are you going to make it easy for them to find you? This is information. Now, you should look for ways to make it easy for the customers to have information about you. And that's where you can deploy social media or any internet outlet that your target reach are easily adaptable to. This um, calls on you to find out where your target customers usually seek out for information. Payment. How easy it is for your customers to pay for your products. How easy do you make it for them to pay for this? Are you adapting online payment strategies? Are you adapting strategies for them to pay using a card, or you just want them to pay using just cash only? And that makes it hard for those who operate using other forms of payment. You may look at this as extreme, and so, I mean, this is going so far for such an easy, service that I'm offering. But no, these days, a lot of customers want easy access to information about you so that they can make a decision to go with you or go to your competitor. Payment, how easy is it for them to make payment for the services you're going to offer them? How easy will be the billing process for the service you want to offer them? These three things, if you settle down and find out how to make it easier for these customers, they'll definitely want to do business with you. And not only do business to you, you can get a hold of their loyalty, and they would always want to continue doing business with you. So information, how easy information about you is accessible to your customers, or to your target customers, how easy it is for them to make payment for the services you are offering them, or how easy it is for them to get billing for such services. All right. Yeah. So I'd like to get, I mean, time in. I mean, we don't have luxury of time in today's segment because I just checked and we've gone so far with the timing. And usually our coffee chatter is for 1 hour. But I see what I can do in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and perhaps we can, have this conversation again. I'm going to some deeper matters. I mean, for each of these petals, we have different layers that we can, use as blueprints to develop them for our businesses. But let's look at the enhancing elements. And by the way, these enhancing elements can help us. These are more like additional services and features that can add value to the overall core products that we are offering. An example we can take, I mean, offhand, the examples are the after sales service, customer, service, however the case may be, the additional amenities that are attached to our businesses. So consultations, how easy is it for you to provide consultations regarding the services you're offering? Sometimes customers want to make a decision on whether to go with the service you are offering or that of your competitor. And in order for them to make a decision, they like to consult. How easy do you make it for them to consult? There are different platforms this can be done. I mean, the person making the hair, are you providing your mobile phone number to potential customers to give you a call or send a text message, and then you can respond to them? Are you providing a platform online or on social media to make this easy for them You can't concentrate on that petal of your core product. How easy is it for you to make available taking of orders from your customers? What kind of hospitality are you offering to your customers? What kind of exceptions to the services? I mean, have you taken time to find out what your competitors are offering and try to do something that they are not doing? It is that something that they are not doing that can stand you aside and make you more competitive than they are. Safekeeping. A customer comes to your wherever you're offering your business, how safe do they feel in that environment? Are you going to spend extra effort to make them safe, relaxed, and having them enjoy the ambience? It doesn't have to be expensive, but it is important and significant in doing business today. See, and this is coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. If today you're still doing business talking about meeting customer satisfaction, you you are still thinking in the traditional way. Now, businesses are doing better and surviving and sweeping industries because they're tending to meet customer feeling. Almost everybody is meeting customer satisfaction. However, not everybody is meeting customer feeling. And I mean, how to meet the customer feelings in the post-pandemic world will be a topic for another day. And that is because I see we've exhausted the time we allocated for today's show. And I don't want to overshoot it because I'm pretty sure we all have different other things we're doing. However, I will try to create time to explain and discuss more about how you can take your businesses further to meet customer feeling. In a summary, all right, in a summary, yeah, boss lady, and I'm just seeing a comment from her. I agree with you, Doc. The experience is key to overall customer satisfaction. Correct. Absolutely correct. Thank you very much for that comment, Enor. And even if you're going to be watching this video sometime later and you have something to contribute or a question to ask, please feel free to drop your comments in our comment sections, or you send us a direct message, and we'll try to get back to you. We've got experts, entrepreneurs, marketers in our team that will be willing to offer you actionable advice. We've got Anna there, who is a super entrepreneur, and she's a consultant. She can offer you and your business advice on how to take your business to the next level. So feel free to send us a message. Valerie, super marketer. She can offer you marketing consultations. So feel free to send us a message, and we'll definitely reach out to you. Or you can drop us a comment on the comment box. We'll reach out to you. And if you want me to take this flower of service approach even deeper and give you blueprints on how to deploy each of these rose petals that I talked about and tailor it directly to your business, all right? However, your core product might be service or goods, I can do that, and we can have another segment on that. All right. So, but because we're already exhausted the timing allocated for today's show, I'd like to stop here and thank you so much for joining us, and say that we look forward to you joining us in our next coffee chatter. I'd like to, I'm not so sure if Enor is still here. You may want to give an intro to what our next coffee chatter may look like, which will be hosted by Enor. Enor, you want to say something? All right. So I believe Enor is somewhere at the background. All right. But Just so you know, she's cooking up something interesting, and it will do you a whole lot of good to keep an eye on our page. If you've not liked or followed it, it will be a great time to do that now. But keep an eye, and we have some more juicy information to share with you all. Thank you once again, and it's a beautiful weekend from me to you. And I'll see you again on our next edition of Coffee Chatter. Bye, everyone.